video, we're going to talk about the benefits of cardiovascular training and what is all the dissing about cardio going on and why. I'm breaking it all down for you, so stay tuned. The reason why you may have seen or there's a lot going on around cardio as to dissing it, especially on social media platforms. This is because I would say for those that know the benefits of cardiovascular training, particularly those that are in strength training, because anyone who likes high circuit interval training is really not going to be dissing cardio as opposed to people that prefer hypertrophy and strength training. There are reasons that are actually justified to diss cardio, but are those individuals aware of why they're actually dissing cardio? So some people use cardio as a exercise to outdo poor nutrition and or a poor diet or excess calorie intake, and so they drive hard on cardio. That should not be done. So it's not a way to overload, eat poorly, and then try to burn it through cardio excess training. Secondly, if you're using cardio to burn fat and lose weight solely, that's not the best way about it. There's a better way to program your exercise so that you get the best out of it, as opposed to using cardio for fat loss, especially fat loss as opposed to weight loss. Thirdly, if you are looking to build muscle, or if you've lost weight or looking to lose weight and have a more toned figure, then you need to incorporate strength training. And there's a fine line of balance between cardio and muscle, where building muscle mass, where excess cardio can then run into actually you burning off your muscle and not growing your muscle. And it's a very fine line, and it's quite tricky to know unless you have a coach or you've been training for a very long period of time and years, where you've got to balance the nutrition intake, balance the muscle growth, particularly if you're looking to grow certain muscle groups. Your nutrition might need to be tweaked, so you might need to go into more calories, eating certain macros, and then your cardio needs to be tweaked. So these are the main reasons why you might see people actually dissing anyone who's doing cardio. However, cardio does have some amazing benefits because it refers to the heart and the blood vessels. I would say for longevity, my recommendation is incorporate zone 2 cardio along with weight training for your best program, regardless of where you are. And obviously, depending on your goals, progressive overload is a great advancement. So if we look at cardiovascular training and the benefits, it tends to improve the efficiency of the body's cardiorespiratory system in absorbing and transporting oxygen. And when you're exhaling, you're actually exhaling waste products. And during cardio, your breathing becomes heavier. Now, there's different zones of cardios, and so, there's high intensity cardio, or there's just cardio to actually move the body, burn fat, and it's enough without causing excess stress. And this could be another topic I dive into, because it's very important to know that not always going for your cardio or a high intensity level cardio, fasted or non-fasted, is good for you. It can actually have detrimental effects on your muscle mass, but if you are also, whether you're a man or female, it can fatigue the body. And then if you are doing strength training or other training during the day or later in the day, it could be too much on your body, especially if you're not eating the proper calories and nutrients needed. So that would be a whole nother topic. For women as well, during your cycle and certain periods within your monthly cycle, it's not advisable to always be putting stress on your body. So it's okay if you're competing, for example, but I always promote, although I do have clients that are getting ready, to start and hopefully compete after several months, where then when they're in the final stages, I'd actually move them on to an expert within that physique of competition they would like to be in. And we tweak their program as we go along, but it's really important for me to tweak and progress, but then I have to regress and tweak their program so they don't fatigue. So in terms of sustainability and longevity, that's what I like to promote, because we achieve your goals and we want you to sustain. And if you want to go on to more goals, then we look at your program again and we do that. But the best way to keep you on that program, keep you advancing to your goals, keep you healthy and not have to go into a period of rest, is that we look and make sure your program is balanced without over fatiguing your body as well. So going back to the transportation of oxygen in and exhaling waste products, that is really needed, and that can be done with any aerobic exercise. It doesn't have to be high intensity or low intensity. Now, I'm not giving high intensity exercise a bad name, but if you are doing it 5-6 days a week and it's your prime exercise, you might need to look on how you're feeling after a period of time. So some of the benefits of a regular cardio routine, I would say it definitely reduces your fatigue levels and it improves your energy levels. You're moving your body, you're getting the waste products out of exhaling. I'm also a big person on energy healing through the body, through movement. So there's some of my clients that we do energy healing through traditional Reiki, but also releasing of emotions within the body in certain postures. So I don't know if you have ever been very anxious or depressed, and you've had to go and do something, you need to do something. So even if you just jump up and down, you'll find you'll feel a lot better. And you can try this because you're shaking the emotions in your body. And if you go for a cardio, if you go for a walk, if you go for, whether it's high intensity or low intensity zone 2 cardio, after it, how are you feeling? You might feel your muscles fatigued and stuff, but when you give it the adequate rest, possibly, doing some stretches after, bringing the body down to cool down properly and taking the time, you'll find you actually feel your energy levels and yourself a lot lighter. It can and has been proven, and that's why I say it very carefully, it can and has been proven, it's not just me saying, to reduce depression occurrence and the severity of depression. I think this goes back to my method of where we're healing certain emotions within the body. But as cardio in general, you're moving your body, you're releasing stuff from your body, and you're not just sat in your mental plane. So your physical body is moving, you're diverting your energy. If you go for a walk, there's stuff in front of you. I'm not saying that you'll always go for a walk and you come back and feel, oh my God, I'm a new person. That is not. But during that walk and after, you will feel a little bit better, because depression is serious and we don't want to downplay anyone suffering from depression. I think we've all been there. Same with anxiety. Depression is living in the past, anxiety is living in the future. So there's a reduction of depression, a reduction of anxiety and stress. I've named 5 there. And in the longevity, it's also, there's been proven that it can prevent cancers. Now, I believe it probably prevents cancers, because overall, when you move and your physical well-being, and you're exhaling, inhaling, and you're using all the respiratory and cardiovascular system, that in itself has health benefits, and your immunity, which means it lowers your openness, you can say, to diseases. You know, we need to look after our mind, our body, our soul, and that's what keeps us healthy. It will improve and enhance your self-image. I'm a big one of this. I used to be overweight. I was around 25 kilos more, and I did it all alone, and I've sustained it for 16 years, and I was very conscious of myself. I was very shy. Now, if you are overweight and you're not, I honestly admire everyone who is not, because I know how I struggled. But if you are, you will feel different. And if you're not, if you maybe you're underweight and you go for a walk, it can be managed where if you're working with a coach, for example, we look at your calories, so you're taking in calories if you're trying to add on weight. If you are suffering from a body dysmorphia illness, then you need to see a professional. But it enhances your self-image and your confidence. Along with this, in the long run, when you're moving your body, you're slowing the aging process of your body. And there's improvement in sleep quality and improvement in mental acuity. Okay, so if we go to the first one, I've mentioned there 11. Okay, if we go to reduces fatigue, sedentary people that go on and exercise have reported reduction in fatigue after they've started exercising. This can include with fatigue that's around irritability, drowsiness, sluggishness, slowed reflexes. That kind of fatigue is what I mean. The effect happens to that has been taken as a study across a diverse population, and it's been very reliable and seen as stronger than caffeine, okay, or drugs like caffeine that keep you awake, and that, I mean, is within people that are sedentary or don't get much movement in or have not started an exercise program. I'm not talking about anyone who's already doing strength training, etc., and they start doing more walking. That is better than a caffeine kick before needing to strength train. I mean, people that have been sedentary and start moving their body. Improvement of energy levels, I mentioned. The more robust cardiovascular system, the better it allows the heart to pump per beat, supply blood between the beats, and thus increase efficiency. Get oxygen to our body, our muscles, everywhere that needs oxygen. Then it comes back up and we exhale the waste. Optimal cognitive function is supported by sufficient supplies of oxygen to the brain and plays a large role in improved alertness in all ages of humans. Reducing depression. The study, I believe, was 1 to 10. Adults struggle with depression, and many will turn to antidepressants to relief of the condition. I think it's higher than 1 to 10. I think there's a lot more of a higher statistic than that, but this is a trusted study. Clients that do not take drugs for antidepressant effects should consult physicians prior to ceasing use. So if you need, if you feel you're depressed and you'd like to seek professional help, please speak to your physician or your GP. High intensity exercise stimulates the production of endorphins that promote feelings of well-being. So whether it's your zone 2 cardio steady paced, or then you do let's say you do a couple of minutes or 5 minutes of more high intensity, you will feel better after it. Low intensity exercise over a period releases neurotrophic proteins and growth factors. They're growth factors for your body, and both of these increases lead to increases in brain function. The reduction I mentioned then as stress and anxiety, I mentioned, which would be a lot of the same mechanisms that help reduce depression, help relieve stress and anxiety. When stress affects one's brain, the effects are felt throughout the body, and the opposite is also true. Regular exercise provides protection against stress, anxiety and depression increasing, if not also decreasing. And I mentioned the reason why I am an energy healer, a yoga teacher, breath work and meditation, but also I'm an advanced certified personal training, because I don't know if you see my Instagram, I've put I'm a multidimensional woman. I'm not one or the other, but when I combine them, if I have a client that wants to, for example, achieve muscle atrophy, which, you know, I do strength training, we all go through certain things in life, and so they might have yoga healing sessions with me where we look at the different parts to release trauma from the body or upsetness, etc. And I know this from my own practice, and that's why I really speak on the mind, body and soul methods that I've produced. I don't think you can separate your mind and your body and your soul, and I think this would go into another chat, but another video, but like your environment, what you do with your body, what you do with your mind, who you have around you, have profound elements and impact on you. And then we discussed prevention of some types of diseases like cancer. So exercise is linked with lowering the risk of 3 different forms of cancer, okay? And they believe it's up to 10 more, so 13 in total. Even other forms of physical activity linked with reducing common forms of cancer. Just being active is a good answer to preventing all types of cancers. When I was listing it, I was saying that because we're moving our bodies, we're preventing, and I believe it's probably helps prevent a lot of diseases. It builds your immune system. I didn't mention this in the list to break down further, but improves your immune system. I mentioned it earlier in the lists of before going into detail of each list. Improves your immune system, which improves your lowers your susceptibility to getting any diseases, and even colds or flus you're less likely to when your immune system is a lot higher. It slows the effects of aging. We mentioned that. For example, when older adults engage in regular cardio, they experience decreased decreased loss of muscle mass and strength. They do not increase body fat, lower cholesterol levels, do not experience reductions in testosterone levels, which we do as we age, and have a stronger immune system with T cell containing higher than the younger person. And the indicators of normal biological process or pathogenic processes have been tools for health professionals to really objectively measure and evaluate the indicators of cardio and cardiovascular training, basically. In the top list that I mentioned originally that we didn't break down because I was going to mention it later, but I'll mention it now so I don't. It's a good weight management. Just by doing zone 2 cardio, So maintaining your weight or trying to lose weight, cardio is needed. There's a fine balance, like I said, depending on what zone of cardio you're doing, zone 1 versus zone 2. Zone 1 all the time, very high stress. Maybe you need it for a certain amount of time, and if you have a coach, they will put you on an amazing program where it's balanced. But make sure you have a coach that fully understands your goals. Improve sleep. Nearly 1/3 of adults get recommendations of 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Sleep deprivation is defined as achieving less than the ideal sleep times. As little as 10 minutes of aerobic exercise can improve the quality of sleep, increase overall sleep duration. Exercising too close to sleep times may negatively affect the quality of your sleep. More sleep allows people to improve the recovery of your training. So, for example, if you're doing strength training as well, it helps you recover. If you've been doing high intensity, if you've just worn your body out, sleep helps you recover. We grow and we recover through sleep if you're regularly exercising. So I don't know, for me, if I don't move throughout my day, if I cannot sleep, I'm not the best sleeper as it is. But if I can't sleep, I cannot imagine a day without getting session in, unless I've been obviously training and I need a rest day, that we all need. But not moving the body, I feel it very heavy, sluggish, and I feel it needs to be released. Okay. Mental acuity. So exercises benefits memory, cognition, and reduction in insulin resistance, reductions in inflammation, stimulation of release of growth factors, which we mentioned. The prefrontal cortex of your brain found to be larger in people who are active than those who are sedentary. So that's where, the memory, cognition is within your brain. Certain areas of your brain increase in size with regular exercise. Obviously, there's a limit to how much it increases. It doesn't continue to increase. But as we know, as we age, the brain in certain areas starts to shrink. And if we're not using it, we do know that there are I don't want to say mental health diseases because it's not mental health, but brain functioning diseases, that can impact us as we age, or we tend to get. So even the flow of oxygen, the cardiovascular, cardiorespiratory system that we're doing, not only is it going to the body, like I mentioned, this coming to the brain as well. Cardiovascular and training principles is really important, because this is where your trainer is very, your coach or trainer is really needed. And I will go into that in a different video, along with probably the principle of individual preferences, specification, and other acute training variables around cardio. But as you can see, I listed the 11. I added on weight management and reduction of obesity to make sure, we're in the ideal norm of the World Health Organization and other justified platforms. And so this is why you might be hearing a lot of dissing about cardio. And I used to be there, and I've managed to, if you become overweight, you really tend to have something in your mind of you need to do cardio over strength training. If you've had a day where you've eaten poorly, or poorly I mean by poor nutrition intake, not lowered calorie, or whatever it is. But it's not the case. We also know that muscle mass burns a lot after the session, continues to burn a lot longer than cardio. However, cardio is an important element. It's about the balance of the two. So I hope you like this video. If you've got any questions, please leave me a comment. If you wanted to work with me, or if you wanted to know a bit more of what coaching I do within the various areas, or what I do and you're not aware of them all, you can reach out to me. I do have my website. It's going to revamp, but it's still up there, and you can comment or you can email me. I'd love to do a consultation with you. I can also share stories of my story and my clients. If you've got any questions about cardio or any element of fitness coaching or life coaching, or coaching around mindset, because there'll be more videos on that, please drop me a note. And I'd love for you to give this a thumbs up and subscribe, comment, because it helps in the algorithm and it helps me get more videos out for you, hopefully in a lot more frequent manner. And also, what do you want to see from me? So are you struggling within one area? Please do let me know, and I'll get a video out for you then. For now, take care. I'll see you in our next video. See ya.